Good morning, students. Myself, H.A. Sai Ishwara, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Sahyadri Science College, Shimoga. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಯಾರೂ ಮನೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಡಿ. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಯಾನಿಟೈಸರ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾಸ್ಕ್ ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಈಗ ಆನ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗದಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಡೌಟನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಏನು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಝುವಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗಿರೋದು ಇವಾಗ ಪೇಪರ್ 2 ಇದೆ. ಅದರ ಟೈಟ್ಲ್ ಬಂದು ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನಲ್ ಅನಾಟಮಿ ಆಫ್ ಕಾರ್ಡೇಟ್ಸ್. Today I am going to explain about introduction to Chordata. We are more familiar with chordates than any other group in the animal kingdom. It includes such animals as sea squirrels and man, in which there appears to be no similarity. Chordates are animals characterized by the presence of a notochord, the animals which do not contain a notochord are called non-chordates or invertebrates. Chordates are the most diverse and successfully adapted to various kinds of habitats. The phylum Chordata comprises about 70,000 species. The phylum Chordata includes fishes, frogs, toads, lizards, snakes, turtles, crocodiles, birds, and mammals, including man. The study of chordates continues to be of great importance to biologists because it illustrates the biological principles like development, ancestry, interrelationships, and evolution very well. General characters of phylum Chordata. The animals containing a notochord, a dorsal tubular nerve cord, and gill slits are called chordates. Following are the main features of the chordates present either in the embryonic stage or adult stage. Number 1, notochord. Number 2, dorsal tubular nerve cord. Number 3, pharyngeal gill clifts. First, notochord. A notochord is an elastic solid skeletal rod lying below the nerve cord and above the alimentary canal. It is in the form of an endoskeleton and is supporting in function. It is made up of large vacuolated notochordal cells enclosed in one or two sheaths of connective sheath. In lower chordates, the notochord may be retained throughout life, but in most vertebrates, the notochord is replaced partially or completely by the backbone or vertebral column. Number 2, dorsal tubular nerve cord. It is a dorsal hollow fluid-filled nerve cord, lies above the notochord. It occurs in all chordates either in the embryonic or larval or adult stages. Nerve cord persists throughout life in all chordates and usually becomes differentiated into an anterior brain and a posterior spinal cord, constituting the central nervous system in the adult stages of vertebrates. Number 3, pharyngeal gill clifts. These are paired slit-like openings present on the side walls of the pharynx, leading from the pharynx to the exterior. These paired pharyngeal gill slits occur in every chordate embryo, including human embryo. This phenomenon of occurrence of pharyngeal gill cleft is called pharyngotremy. In fishes, gill clefts are internally lined with vascular lamellae, which becomes gills suitable for aquatic respiration, while in terrestrial vertebrates like mammals, the gill clefts disappear in the adult. Animals with notochord, nervochord, and pharyngeal gill clefts are called chordates. The other important characters of chordates are as follows. Number one, ventral heart. In chordates, the heart is ventral in position and the flow of blood in the dorsal vessel is from the anterior to the posterior end, and in the ventral vessel from the posterior to the anterior side. In higher chordates, the heart lies in a pericardial cavity, which is a modified part of the coelom. Number two, red blood corpuscles. Most chordates have red blood containing red blood corpuscles or RBCs and erythrocytes having hemoglobin as a respiratory pigment. Hemoglobin is present in the RBC. Number three, post-anal tile. It is present at some stage of the life cycle. It may or may not persist in the adult. Post-anal tile is a posterior prolongation of the body. It is without coelom and contains no viscera but has extensions of muscles, nerve cord and notochord. The tile is flexible and muscular. It acts as an organ of locomotion in water. In terrestrial forms, it is much modified or reduced in the adult. Next, common characters of chordates. In addition to the characters listed above, the higher chordates have certain characteristic features which may be common to some other phyla. Number one, cephalization. In bilaterally symmetrical animals, there is concentration of nervous tissue and sense organs in or toward the head. This phenomenon is called cephalization, or the anterior segments are differentiated to form head bearing mouth opening, brain and sense organs. This is known as cephalization. Number two, bilateral symmetry. All chordates are bilaterally symmetrical, at least in the embryonic state. In bilateral symmetry, the body is longitudinally cut into two equal parts passing through the center of the animal, or the right side of the animal is a mirror image of the left side of the animal. Number three, triploblastic condition. Chordates are triploblastic forms comprising three primary germ layers, namely an outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and an inner endoderm. Number four, coelom. All chordates have a true coelom developed from the mesoderm. It is a body cavity between the body wall and the gut wall. The coelom is lined entirely with mesoderm. The coelom is enterocoelous, developing from the gut. Number five, metamerism. Chordates are also metamerically segmented animals, although external segmentation is less pronounced or distinct. The segmentation is manifested in the anatomical features such as blood vessels, nerves, kidneys, and trunk muscles. Next, classification of chordates. Chordata is a phylum comprising of animals with a notochord. Phylum Chordata is subdivided into three subphyla, namely subphylum 1, Urochordata. Urochordata includes chordates containing notochord in the tile region. Example, Hardmania. Subphylum 2, Cephalochordata. Cephalochordata includes chordates containing a notochord extending up to the tip of the head. Example, Amphioxus. The subphyla Urochordata and Cephalochordata are together called Protochordata because they are the first or early or primitive chordates. The protochordates do not possess a cranium and head, so they are called acrania. The part of skull enclosing brain is called cranium. Subphylum 3, Vertebrata. The vertebrata includes animals containing a vertebral column. Vertebral column is the backbone formed of a series of ring-like vertebra arranged one behind the other. The vertebral column either develops around the notochord or replaces the notochord. The vertebrates have a ventral heart, a closed circulatory system, well-developed brain, and paired sense organs, and usually with two pairs of appendages. The vertebrata possesses a cranium and a head, so they are called craniata. Subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions based on the presence or absence of jaws, namely Division 1, Agnatha or Monorhina. Agnatha includes the earliest fish-like vertebrates without jaws and paired appendages and with a single median nostril. It has a single living class, Cyclostomata, comprises eels. Division 2, Gnathostomata or Amphirrhina. Gnathostomata includes advanced vertebrates possessing a pair of true jaws, paired nostrils, and paired appendages. Gnathostomata comprises two superclasses, namely Pisces and Tetrapoda. Superclass 1, Pisces. Pisces includes aquatic gnathostomes having an exoskeleton of dermal scales, paired appendages in the form of pectoral and pelvic fins, and respiring by means of gills. It comprises two living classes, namely Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. Class 1, Chondrichthyes. These are fishes with cartilaginous endoskeleton. Examples, shark, trigon, tristis, etc. Class 2, Osteichthyes. These are fishes with bony endoskeleton. Examples, hippocampus, Neoceratodus, Exocetus, Labiorohita, etc. Superclass 2, Tetrapoda. Tetrapoda includes four-legged land vertebrates respiring by means of lungs. It comprises four classes: amphibia, reptilia, avia, and mammalia. Class 1 amphibia includes frogs, toads, and salamanders. Class 2 reptilia includes turtles, snakes, lizards, and crocodiles. Class 3 avia includes all birds. Class 4 mammalia includes elephants, deer, tiger, bats, and man. Next, origin of chordates. Chordates evolved sometime during Cambrian period, 500 million years ago during Cambrian explosion. almost at the same time when invertebrates were beginning to evolve. They may have evolved from some freshwater forms, as Chamberlain pointed out that all modern chordates possess glomerular kidneys that are designed to remove excess of water from the body. However, early fossils of chordates have all been recovered from marine sediments, and even modern protochordates are all marine forms. Glomerular kidneys are also found in some marine forms such as myxinoids and sharks. That makes the marine origin of chordates more plausible. Chordates evolved from some deuterostome ancestor. As they have similarities in embryonic development, type of coelom, and larval stages, fossils of earliest vertebrates are known from the Silurian to Devonian period about 400 million years ago. The following theories have been given to explain the origin of chordates. Number one, first theory, echinoderm origin theory by Johannes Muller. This theory is based on the comparative studies of larval stages of echinoderms and hemichordates. Johannes Muller, Gorstang, and D. Beers proposed that echinoderm larvae give rise to chordates by neoteny, development of sexual maturity and reproductive organs by larval forms without metamorphosis is called neoteny. Like chordates, echinoderms are also deuterostomia and possesses mesodermal skeletal elements. The discovery of fossil echinoderms confirms the echinoderm ancestry of chordates. In deuterostomes, blastopore forming the anus and the mouth is a new opening. Second theory, Eurochordate origin theory. Garstang and N.J. Beryl gave importance to the tadpole-like larva of Eurochordates, which carries typical chordate characters, namely a notochord in tail along with segmented myotomes, dorsal hollow nerve cord, sense organs, and pharyngeal slits. Gorstang suggested that chordates evolved from some sessile filter-feeding eurochordates by the larval stage evolving into adult by neoteny and by losing the sedentary adult stage. Third theory, hemichordate origin theory by Romer. Romer suggested that ancestral deuterostomes were sedentary tentacle feeders whose mucus-laden ciliated tentacles served to trap planktons as they were waved in water, as do the modern lophophorates and pterobranch. By some mutation, pharyngeal gill slits evolved in these ancestors, which made the pharynx sieve-like to trap planktons as the water current passed through it. Extinct pterobranchs possess both ciliated arms and pharyngeal gill slits. Tarnaria larva of hemichordates shows phylogenetic relationship with echinoderm larvae, and hemichordates also show affinities with chordates. Fourth theory, cephalochordate origin theory. Chamberlain studied the primitive and advanced characters of cephalochordates and proposed that while extinct cephalochordates possess all the chordate characters into typical state, they also show some primitive features of non-chordates such as absence of heart, head, sense organs, respiratory pigments, filter feeding mode of food capture and excretion. Cathymeres came from early Cambrian sediments in China, and Paleobranchiostomata came from South Africa that appears to be more like Amphiaxis. Fifth theory, combined theory by E.J.W. Barrington. Barrington in 1965 combined all the theories and proposed that the common ancestors of echinoderms and chordates was a sessile ciliary feeder that lived in the plankton-rich environment of the Cambrian period. According to this theory, the modern crinidia, pogonophorans, and hemichordates evolved from a similar ancestor by retaining the original mode of feeding. Cephalocordate like ancestors evolved by perfection and expansion of chordate characters that were already present in the Ascidian tadpole larva. We already have fossils of such primitive chordates like Paikia gracilans from mid-Cambrian. That's all. Have a good day.